your autobiography's out this week, isn't it? If you were to write a chapter on the season at Yeovil Town so far, what would you say?
Help! No, I'm saying, the book's out yesterday, so hopefully everybody will buy it for Chrissy presents for their mums and dads, and as I said, it'll go well.
Did your time at Yeovil get any, was it?
I think it's got a couple of pages, but I think I could fill a chapter now.
Very much so. Let's ask about injuries then. Anyone available who wasn't available last week?
No, the boy Lacey and the Shawanwi are still out, so that's a big blow to us, but nobody's coming back yet.
Any idea when they'll be available?
Well, next week would be the nearest. If I took a real chance on them, I could push them for next week, I think, about 4 of them.
So hopefully, Omar, it did look bad on Saturday, but is it not too serious? Hopefully?
We've had it x-rayed and there's no break and there's no tear in these ligaments or anything like that, so it's medial strain of some sort.
So dare I say, that's some positive news then.
Size, but it's some positive news at last.
I was going to say, so it's what you work with then, going to Crawley on Saturday then? You know what you've got to work with? Yeah,
well, definitely. 14 players. That's what we've got and that's what we're going to go with.
So we know now, will there only be 3 substitutes on Saturday?
Wait a minute, to count them up. Maybe 4.
Sure. So youngster on the bench maybe as well? Or?
Yes, there might be a youngster on the bench, yeah.
How do we assess Crawley? They haven't won at home this season. I think they lost heavily last week. Is the still question, is it a good time to play them?
Or if you look at, they were undefeated in their last 3 games before the last Saturday. So swings and roundabouts. They've got some experienced players. Their manager is taking the defeat last week badly, and I would imagine they'll come out all guns blazing on Saturday. So it's a difficult game. Yeah,
Mark Yates isn't a stranger to football fans in the West from his time at Cheltenham. Is he someone you've come across in the past?
Yeah. Now and then have chats on the phone and things like that. A good manager, he's done well.
We know about the short-term problems. Are you someone who looks just at the next game, or do you look longer term? What are your longer-term ambitions for Yeovil this season, or is it impossible to say until everyone's back and available for selection?
I think if you were to do a wee story on managers knowing their strongest team, I'd probably be at the bottom of the pile. I'm saying until I get all my players back again, we can review everything, get them on the training ground, get them nice and fit. Everybody vying for positions. It's very difficult to determine how the season's going to unfold. We want to finish up as high as possible. Whether that takes us, who knows? But as I said, let's get healthy first and get the team playing a bit before we start worrying about where we're going to finish up.
Does your experience help? You've come across as a very positive figure throughout this. You've never made excuses. Do you go home and want to kick the cat, or do you keep your chin up at all times?
No, I'm saying managers don't do that. They maybe get one face showing a bit of positiveness, but most managers, take defeat badly, or they shouldn't be a football manager. Saying the important thing for us is to learn from our mistakes and learn from the defeats. I think you learn more in defeat than you do in winning. Sometimes you get complacent when you win. So I think at this minute in time there's a learning curve for me and the coaches. And we're learning very, very quickly the individual players that we have to play on a Saturday at this minute in time. Yes, there's mistakes in them. There's a naivety in them. There's a lack of confidence at times, but to be fair, their attitude to play and their work rate, you can't argue about. Really, in the end of the day, I'm very hopeful. They're learning. Hopefully, they're learning quick, and that the results will start going in the right direction.
And those players who are available, how important is it that they do step up to the plate and perform?
Well, they've got to stay healthy first. That's my next worry. All it needs is a couple of key areas that we've got no cover for at all. All of a sudden flares up. That would be a real blow to us at this minute in time. But football, in the end of the day, evens itself out over the season. I hope. I normally find that with the referees' decisions, it kind of evens itself out. So I'm very hopeful that we'll stay healthy later in the season.
And 3 points, I mean, what a boost that would be, wouldn't it? We saw the lift after the Luton game. I mean, come back from Crawley with 3 points would be a real morale booster.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Away from home, I would say our most disappointing performances have been away from home. So, when you look, we've had a couple of wins and a draw at home. So, and the important thing for us now is to kick-start our away form. When I was at Plymouth the first time, they hadn't won for 2 years away from home. So it's something here we've got to turn around and make sure we're more positive in our approach. And sometimes when you're overemphasising stopping teams from playing, you forget to remind how we're going to play. And I've tried very hard to not to fall into that kind of mistake. Because lots of managers do that. The boys are up for it, they've shown a keenness, their appetite to train is fantastic. All the things that I want them to do, they put into practice. Problem is there's a 90 minutes on a Saturday when the whistle goes. A lot of the stuff that goes right out of their minds is trying to keep them focused on what we want to achieve. It's going to be a very difficult game Saturday because we've got a wounded animal in the manager of Crawley. And some players have got to prove to him, after their disappointment last week. And at the same time, we've got to go there and do the things we've been trying to do at home. We have spells in games where we look very, very good. We've just got to make that spells a wee bit longer.
Okay, all the best Saturday. All the best with the book.
Thank you.
One man that knows Crawley probably better than most is your captain, Paul. You managed to have a chat with Ryan about them?
Yeah, Ryan, yes. Had a wee word with him about it. He's mad my card about the individual players, that he played with last season. It's a very tight pitch there, so it's going to be a physical game, I think, as well. So, there's certain areas, when you talk to people, you find out the psyche of the opposition individually. And, he's marked my card on a couple of things that I think could be quite useful for Saturday.
And with Crawley, of course, they came down as well, so they're in a similar position to Yeovil. Do you think that will help in any way on Saturday?
Not in the slightest. I think they're biting and scratching like us. I think obviously they've had a couple of wins over the piece.
Yeah.
And they've got six points. So, in the end we can go ahead of them if we win on Saturday, which would be nice. We just want to keep very, very slowly getting our players back. We want to just shape ourselves that we slowly climb the league. Eventually by Christmas I'm very hopeful to be out of the worry of down below. But the proof will be in the pudding come the time, and so it's very important we get healthy. Healthy is the key to all this.
And is the Hartlepool game still the target for a few of those players?
Well, as far as I know, the story is they'll have to train next week to prove to me they're available. And the decision then I've got to make is do I get them fit through playing games? Which means that they go into a team that the rest of the players that haven't played with them. So all of a sudden you have that what's the word I'm looking for? Inconsistency of performance, team-wise and individual-wise. So and then obviously the first game they always get away with, the adrenaline rush that they get keeps them in good stead, and then normally you find it's a burning spitfire for 2 or 3 games till they kick start again. And if there's 4 or 5 of them come back at the same time, do you play the 4 or 5, or do you put 3 on and take 2 on the bench, swap them over after a certain time? I've got players tired and they've played all season, and I've got the 3 or 4 that are going to be tired, definitely tired at the end of games. As an old quote, who would be a manager?